Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Create Your Speech in a Weekend. What we're going to do this morning is we're going to go from step 1, the attention grabber, all the way through step number 6, which is problem, pain, and suffering. So you're going to go through those first 6 steps without stopping. Don't worry if you mess up, just keep going, and then I'll give you feedback. All right, who would like to go first?
I'll go first, but
Okay.
I'm not quite at step 6 yet. I'll stop at the story if that's okay, because I haven't quite worked around. Would that be all right, Avi?
That's okay. Because
Okay.
it's midnight there, it's perfectly okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
go ahead and start.
Okay. All right. So how many of you are ready to break through your glass ceiling? And how many of you are ready to not only break through your glass ceiling, but also to rise to your highest potential? Yay, that's great. Because that is what we'll be talking about today. In the next 30 minutes, I'll share more on how you can rise to your highest potential. But first, I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to everyone here for showing up today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. I also want to express my appreciation to our host, the wonderful Avi Robinson. So thank you, Avi, for making this happen. So can I take this time before I begin to share the backstory of how I came to do what I do?
Yes.
So Avi, I've changed my story a little bit around just to fit in everything. So, all right. So I don't do well when restrictions are imposed on me or when I have to conform to set standards. My resistance has never been about defying rules, but more about being free to carve up my own path. It's more about being a leader than a follower. So in 1983, I relocated from Singapore, my birthplace, to Hong Kong to work for an international airline, and which was based here in Hong Kong. I was excited, but that excitement was short-lived because within my first week, I got slapped down really hard for a minor infraction. I was left in no doubt that if I wanted to survive in this world, I'd have to keep my head down and my mouth zipped. Things were different back then because seniority ruled the day, and being at the bottom of the totem pole, I decided to conform because like everyone else, I had bills to pay. So I was traveling around the world, leading this glamorous lifestyle, but my soul was in a cage. I was slowly losing the essence of who I was. After 14 years of suppressing my voice, I took early retirement. I saw it as my out. But within weeks of my retirement, I started to feel lost again. Only this time I was feeling lost in a different way. My confidence was at a very low level. I found myself at an intersection of not knowing who I was, what I wanted, which direction I wanted to go in. And I didn't know how to express myself anymore. Where previously I had been bubbly and full of joy, I was now unsure and confused. I didn't recognize myself. And I had always been interested in personal development. So on a hunch, I decided to check out a personal development course at the local health and wellness store. And from one course, it turned into 15 years of investing in myself. And the outcome was, I grew leaps and bounds. I became more self-aware. I started to express myself more openly and confidently. And I began to have direction and purpose. And I began to slowly re-emerge. Like the phoenix, I rose again. Then I started to meet people who were at crossroads too, like I had been. And they too were unsure and unclear of how to move forward with their lives. So I decided I wanted to help people turn their lives around. So I compiled everything I had learned and everything that had helped me in my rediscovery process, and I consolidated it into my secret weapon, my exclusive 10 power keys. I now use this material to help business professionals to rise to their highest potential, break through their glass ceiling, and make an impact. And my speciality is in identifying the root causes of the set points and limiting beliefs that hold people back and turning them into empowering beliefs so that they too rise again like the phoenix.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great job.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
So I took a lot of what you had suggested and yeah, put it in there.
Yeah, I love it. I love some of the key phrases that you said. They're so visual, like my soul was in a cage. I mean, wow. And I love that you added that you traveled. Yeah, of course you would be able to travel all over the world working for that airlines. You know, I didn't connect the dots before. And then
Yeah.
just like a phoenix, you rise again. I mean,
Yes.
really powerful word phrases and word pictures that you did there. I love it.
And that's my training program, Rise Higher. That's all how it all ties in.
Yeah. So I love the story how you kind of set up like a prologue, and then you went into it, the time and a place, and then you were more descriptive about what happened and how you felt about that, and then a little bit about the journey, which I loved, and then as you got out again, you went down and up again, with the self development. I love it. Great.
Thank you. Oh, that's great.
Kind of like her up and down, and now she's here today. And that ending that you did, that's really part of the problem, pain, and suffering. I almost sounded, because you're saying you reread that, because there's part of that you can use in your in your pain and suffering. What happens to people? Okay, right?
Yeah.
About after the 10 keys that you teach, then it almost sounded like it was, the problem that people have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did it instinctively. And then you solved it. Yeah, it was really good, really good. One teeny tiny thing. Just be careful of saying the word but in the very beginning. Right? That's all.
Okay.
Put an and in there. It's not critical, but it was so well done that I didn't have anything else. It was good. Everybody give her some love. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you want to comment? Do you want to make a quick comment?
That was much more in depth and detailed. It gave me so much more information than you provided yesterday in our one-on-one session.
Yes.
And it just shows me so much more about you. It's very grabbing. It grabbed my attention a lot. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I would want to hear more.
And even your background,
so that's brilliant. Yeah.
Even the background coming from Singapore, and now you're going. I know you want to go back to Singapore, but what nationality are you, Miranda?
I'm Indian, Singaporean Indian.
Singapore and Indian.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you have in America, you've got African Americans, American Indians, American Chinese. So Singapore's the same. We've got the same Singaporean Chinese, Singaporean Malays, Singaporean Indians. So the natives of Singapore are Malays. The Chinese and Indians are immigrants, generations of immigrants.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. I love your accent. I don't know where that comes from, but
it's a confused tale of everything of all my life experiences.
It's like I just want to keep hearing it. Does anybody else feel the same way? You could listen to it all day. I'm like, yeah. So
it's intriguing. Yeah.
It's really
cool.
Yeah, really cool. All right. Anybody else want to give any feedback to Miranda about her story?
I think that it was, well, like Angelique was saying, you've added so much more that we connect more with you now, because we can touch, we can feel what you were feeling, and that creates that connection. Mm-hmm. Which, especially is important when we're doing this virtual and not live, because we can't come up and take your hand. We can't, go out to lunch with you or whatever. So this is absolutely vital, and it's really, really cool.
We liked it better this morning.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, my takeaway yesterday was that the big points were there, but there's a lot, it just didn't run, it just didn't gel. Like it was jumping here and there. So I needed to sit down and look at it. And I was also unable to express what I was feeling. So I had to look in, go deep within, do an introspection exercise, and then work out that this is what I'm trying to say. And how do I create that? How do I put that together? So that was what I was working on. And of course, with all the feedback. So yeah, I'm so glad it makes a lot more sense now.
Absolutely. But I just love soul in a cage. Man, that is like, you can see that. Woo!
Very
Very good words. All right. Who would like to go next? Okay, Lorena. You're muted. We can't hear you.
Is that better? Okay.
Ah, yay. Okay, wait, let me get the timer.
Okay.
Okay, go.
How many of you would like to have healthy, beautiful skin? How many of you would like to have not only healthy skin, but would like to protect it from damaging it? Great. In the next 30 minutes, I am going to share with you 3 mistakes that people make that hurt their skin. Before I start, I would like to thank you for being here today, and I would like to thank Arvi Robinson for inviting me here today and creating this event. Let's give her a round of applause. Before I share with you the 3 mistakes people do to damage their skin, is it okay if I share with you how I became a master esthetician?
Yes.
Hold on. At age 17, I started working as a receptionist for a dermatologist that specialized mostly on acne. My job was to explain to patients how to use products and assisted estheticians in the back for setting up rooms and making the rooms ready, or help them with having plenty of towels. I'm trying to make it natural, but I'm not there yet. Some days I worked with a manufacturing plant where I met my friend, the chemist, who was part of formulating the skincare products. I immediately grew a passion for acne, and I went to school to become a licensed esthetician. By the time I finished school, I was already doing facials at the doctor's clinic. After a few years, I decided to venture out to work at a spa where I performed more quiet and relaxed facials with aromatherapy. I struggled with the salon's model because they're my clients who needed a more of a clinical approach, like extractions and chemical peels, and instead I was using pore clogging oils and exacerbated the acne. So I went back to the clinic to find out 6 months later that they were closing. I had no choice but to start my own business or start my own place, and rented a small space for about 200 square feet, where I barely had any space for just barely a facial table and a desk. My clients had to wait in their car with no waiting room. I had to call. Move on. Then my friend Sherry, the massage therapist, asked me to open up a place together. Thanks to her, she paid for the bulk of the construction, so it allowed me to pay her in payments. So I felt I was on top of the world. I've got a business going. But I soon learned that running a business was not that easy. I had no guidance. One day, State Board walked in on me and asked me for the license of establishment, and I had no idea what it was. And when I asked her what it was, I really shrunk and I didn't know what to say. So I showed her my esthetician license, but I was lost. Again, I got lost there again. So this was one of my many hard lessons that I had to learn. So I started taking classes on business, accounting. I even became certified on with H&R Block. I took many advanced classes. I flew all over the place because the classes here in California were not as available as they were like in Canada, Texas, and in New York. I even took a cosmetic chemistry class to learn a little bit more about ingredients. In my years of business, I carried a few products that were effective of acne, but sometimes very harsh on the skin. I searched for better products, and I found that they were very greasy, perfumey. Some smelled stinky, like stinky chemicals. So I met up with my friend, the chemist, and that is how I started to develop my own skincare line for personalized skincare. Years later, I came to a halt. My parents were diagnosed with cancer. My father died in 2011. My mother died in 2012. And then my husband was diagnosed with cancer in 2013. So it was 1 year after the other. He was told he was going to die in 4 months if he didn't do chemotherapy and radiation. I lost control of my business. I maxed out the credit cards. By 2015, I was facing bankruptcy. I hit the lowest point in my life, but I didn't want to leave my boys without parents because at that time I wanted to go with my husband if he died. My kids gave me the strength not to give up, so I became determined. I learned to build a website, go into social media, Yelp, and market it myself as much as possible. So my business was reborn again, and I went back to take more advanced skin education and brought in new modalities and better chemical peels. I brought in new equipment, technology for my divas who wanted anti-aging and alternative skincare for alternative care to aging gracefully. I regained my power back. I was blessed to say that my salon, that Sherry and I have been together for more than 25 years. Since then, I have developed 40 products and I've helped thousands of people on their skin.
Good. Okay. Were you going to go into the problem, pain, and suffering? Or
Yes. Yes. The problem with skincare available today is that there's so many skincare without so much skincare products available without achieving the results that the skin needs. This can lead to unnecessary skin reactions like rash, blisters, or chemical burns. My result-oriented system is a complete care that can provide a treatment, a nourishment, and protection.
Good. Okay. You're right in time too. 5:38. Okay. So very, very good. Let's give her a big hand. Woohoo! Big hand, big hand, big hand. All right. So in the beginning, when for all of us, when we do how many of you, we need to, there we go. We a little delayed, but there we go. When we ask those questions, we need to
The
say
internet.
how many of you.
Yeah,
Right? So just remember to all of you, just how many of you, and then that the last half of the question was a little cumbersome. So let's work on those together. So how many of you, what was the first one? How many of you want healthier, beautiful skin? That sounds perfect. And then the next one sounded a little clumsy.
How many? Well, it's because I just random. I was random. That's why. How many of you would not only like to have healthy skin, but also protect it from damaging it?
Just say protect it from damage. I don't think we need the last.
Protect it from damage.
Yeah, protect it from damage. Okay, perfect. All right. And then in one part, after you were working for the salon and everything, you said you had a passion for acne.
Yeah.
Right? Passion. Does that mean you want acne? Or
Oh,
you know what I mean?
helping. Okay.
Yeah, something about helping people get rid of acne, or you know what I mean, getting healthier, clearer skin. But I'm like thinking passion for acne. Small little thing, but some crazy person will get it in the audience, you know. Okay. I love, you could make that story about the business license really funny if you wanted to, by saying, you know, a woman from the state is what you said, the state woman from the state came in and asked for my business license. So I showed her my esthetician license, you know, and she's like, no, honey, you know what I mean? Kind of like, because you were really young. She probably was all confident and prim and proper. And, you know, I could just imagine she probably looked like a female cop or something, right? And you're like, what? You know? So we could play that a little bit more. And again, tell us how you felt, you know, like you said, you know, you shrunk down, but how did you feel? You know, you felt like an idiot. You felt, you know, probably stupid, right?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit, you know, you felt like a nut.
Were there any penalties imposed for not
Yes.
having a license?
License of establishment. Yes, there's a penalty.
Do you remember how much?
600.
600.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You
Well,
might,
for someone that was
That
starting
hurt.
out and
That hurt too.
yeah, you might mention
That was painful.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but you could have a little fun with that. So I showed her my esthetician license, like you're innocent, you're new, you're young, you're innocent, you didn't know. Okay. And then what year was it when you started the products, when you started your own line? And I loved all that description about stinky and smelly and, those are all good. But what year was that? Because I know you're kind of moving fast forward.
Right. I started almost at the beginning, but I went strong after about 2015. So I really just went hard at it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You started your own product line early on, but it was 2015 that you went full bore. That was after all the tragedy, right?
Right.
Now you never said it unless you said it and I was writing and didn't get it. But you never said anything about your husband again getting better and healing, right? Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask too, because it's a nice, not a follow-up. What do they say? A nice comeback to closing that thing. Yeah.
yeah. So somehow, you had the worst year ever. Your husband was diagnosed, and if you didn't take chemo, blah, blah, and you lost your business at that time. I mean, I love all that. I mean, I don't like what happened to you, but I love you sharing it and then saying, I wanted to leave too, because you went right from, I wanted to leave, I wanted to die with my husband. And then all of a sudden you said something like, I didn't want to leave my kids without parents. So then you buckled down and you got your business going. I think we left out something.
Okay.
It was falling apart. You almost claimed bankruptcy, but then all of a sudden your husband got healed. Because I know you went to alternative people, right?
Right.
It was probably the alternative doctors that saved his life. It might not have been the chemo. I don't know. How did it go? You tell us.
It was 5 years of anxiety because every day was like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? Until we reach that 5 year, because in Western medicine, you're not diagnosed free of cancer until you reach the 5 year and the cancer has not come back. And so every 2-3 months he would go back and be checked, and it wouldn't come back. But I always had that anxiety, like, we need to make it to that 5 year before I feel like okay, we did it. Because otherwise I was afraid that the doctors were going to point the finger as, well, it's your fault because you didn't do it right. So for 5 years I had anxiety. So, but what pushed me to do it is like, I kept thinking, if my husband died, I need to make this work. I need to make it work.
Okay. So then, and that's what you said. So that's good. Let's keep it like that. But just somewhere in there, to wrap it up, we're saying, now today, my husband's been cancer free for 5 years, 7 years. How long has it been?
2013. So
8 years.
8 years. Yeah.
8 years. So we can close the loop that way by saying, and today I'm glad to report my husband has been cancer free for 8 years. Otherwise, we're dangling on the edge of the cliff going, what happened? Right?
Yeah.
8 years. That's amazing.
Okay.
That's a miracle.
Okay.
That's a miracle. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, good. And then the last thing is you ended with I don't know, that might have been the problem, pain, and suffering. So you said you regained your power back and all that. I love all that. Very good. I think let's just do your story again with again, just some of those ideas.
Okay. At age 17, I started working as a receptionist for a dermatologist that specialized mostly on acne. My job was to explain how to use the products, and I assisted the estheticians in the back in setting up the rooms with making sure that they had plenty of towels and any of the products that they need. Some days I worked at the manufacturing plant where I met my chemist, who was part of formulating the skincare products. I immediately grew a passion for helping people with acne, so I went to school to become a licensed esthetician. By the time I completed the school, I was already doing facials at the doctor's clinic. After a few years, I decided to venture out at a spa where I performed quiet and more relaxed facials with aromatherapy. I struggled with the salon's model because there were many clients who needed a more clinical approach, like extractions or chemical peels. Instead, I used more pore clogging oils and exasperated the acne. So I went back to the clinic to find out 6 months later that they were closing. I had no choice but to go on my own, and I rented a space for about 200 square feet. I barely had any space for the facial table and a desk. My clients had to wait in their car because there was no waiting room. Then my friend Sherry, a massage therapist, asked me to open a place together. Thanks to her, she was able to pay for all the construction, and then I just paid her in payments.
Right.
Soon I learned I knew very little about running a business. I had no guidance. One day the state board walked in on me, and in my head, I said to myself, I'm a business owner, I got this. She asked me for the license of establishment. It cost me $600. Wait, I kind of threw that in there as you were talking, so I put it in the wrong spot. Let me start over. She asked me for the license of establishment. I proudly showed her my skincare license. She said, no, license of establishment. I shrunk and I asked, what's that? This was one of my many hard lessons I had to learn. And I even tried getting loans, and they asked me for a business plan. I had no idea what that was. Needless to say, since then, I had took many courses on business, accounting, including H&R, block certification. In skincare, I took advanced courses. Back then, I had to fly to Canada, Texas, and to New York. I even took a cosmetic chemistry class to learn about cosmetic ingredients. I probably spent enough money that equals a college degree. During my early years in business, I carried a few products that were effective on acne, but sometimes were very harsh on skin. I searched for better products, and I found that they were very greasy, too perfuming, and some smell like stinky chemicals. I met up with my friend, the chemist, and that's how I started to develop my skincare line for personalized skincare. Years later, I came to a halt. My parents were diagnosed with cancer. My father died in 2011. My mother died in 2012. And my husband was diagnosed with cancer in 2013. He was told he was going to die in 4 months if he didn't do chemo and radiation. We decided to do, I don't want to throw that in there, alternative, because people are really, there's some people that are.
You don't have to.
Thankfully today, my husband is free of cancer for over 8 years now. But during this time, his treatment, I did lose control of my business. I maxed out my credit cards. By 2015, I was facing bankruptcy. I had hit the lowest point in my life, but I didn't want to leave my boys without parents. So my kids gave me the strength to not to give up. So I became determined. I learned to build a website. I got into social media, Yelp, and try to market myself as much as possible. By then, I felt like my business was reborn again. I went back to take more advanced skin education, newer modalities, and better chemical peels. I brought in new equipment, technology for my divas who wanted anti-aging and alternative care to aging gracefully. I regained my power back. I was blessed to say that my salon partner, Sherry, and I have been together for over 25 years. Since then, I have developed 40 products, and I have helped thousands of people with their skin.
Okay, so right here is where you need to add, and my husband's been cancer-free for 8 years.
Okay.
Not up above, because it interferes with the flow of the story and the emotional part of it. You know, where we see you're dealing with 2001, 2, 3 cancer, and then, you know, you didn't want to leave your kids, and then, you know, but you were determined. That shows how much of a fighter you are, right? And so then when you're doing the recap, you've been with Sherry for 40 years, you've done over 1,000 faces or whatever. Now that's a good time to put, and I'm happy to report that my husband's been cancer-free for 8 years. Then we're all like going, yay! Cheering. Yeah. Small
Okay.
little tweaks can make a big difference. So great job, Lorena. Great job. Everybody give her a big hand. All right. Does anybody want to share anything? Brenda, do you want to say something? Because I know you've been on the journey with Lorena for a while now.
Lorena, this is really good. You're bringing out the important things that we need to hear. We're connecting with you, and I'm just, wow, you've come so far, and your courage is amazing and outstanding, and I'm so glad to have been on this journey with you,
Thank you.
actually.
Thank you.
And you're going to do outstanding.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is coming together very nicely. Yes.
you. Thank you.
A huge difference from when we first met you.
Mhm.
Night and day difference. And it's good for you, and we're proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was stuck in my shell. I didn't want to come out.
So Miranda and Angelique, why we've been together a little bit longer is because they're in my $1 Million Mastermind.
Oh, yeah.
Them, and I'll be sharing how you can be part of that mastermind at the $1 Million Speaker Summit.
Nice.
We're finishing up a year together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Lorena, I just have one comment for Lorena. So I know that they've said that they've grown because you guys have known each other so much. So just in the couple classes that I've had with you today, I just see just a different person. You have a confidence, you're speaking with a confidence when before you didn't even want to speak, right? It's such a huge night and day. I just see you going so far, and I just wanted to give you those words.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. All right.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. Beautiful job.
Avi, I just have one contrast to what you said earlier on for Lorena about the being passionate about acne. I think that can be quite funny too, because do you know when you were talking about showing your license, the humorous side of it, I think it shows that you're so passionate about what you do that only someone like you who loves what you do would love acne, do you know? So that could be a humorous take too, if you still wanted to go with that. Because the first time you said it, I got what you were saying. I got immediately that you care so much about what you do, and only someone who cares that much would say, I'd love acne, but I could see what you meant. It wasn't that you liked acne, it's just that you care so much about your beauty side of things that, yeah, so just an opinion, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I thought it sounded better. You were passionate about helping people
Yeah.
get rid of acne. Okay, great, excellent. Who wants to go next? You're all gonna go.
I'm freaking mine out right now.
Okay. Brenda, Dawn, are you either one of you ready?
I'm still tweaking mine a little bit.
Well, I can go ahead.
As I go through it, I go through it multiple times, and the wording changes, and
That's
listening
okay.
to the others, I realized I didn't have enough visual words in my description, so I'm working on that.
Okay.
But I can go, and you guys can.
All right, go.
Okay.
The very beginning.
Good. Yeah, that's what I'm moving up here. Okay. How many of you would like to make more money? How many of you not only want to make more money, but you want to, okay. How many of you not only want to make more money, but you want to learn the secret of how to get up to 300% more?
Oh,
Fantastic. You're in the right place. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to reveal the secrets, the science, and the system to getting more sales and spend less time doing it. First, I want to thank you all for being here today. I especially want to thank RV for making this venue possible. Before I begin revealing the secrets, it would be okay if I share how I came to be here today. Thank you. My sales career started at 8 years old as a Cub Scout, selling Christmas cards. For a prize. I don't even remember what the prize we were going for. My mom bought some cards. My grandma bought some cards. One of my neighbors bought some cards. No one else bought anything. Eventually, electronics became, skip the line. Discouraged, I stopped trying to sell. Besides, electronics was more fun. Eventually, electronics became my career as well as my hobby, and I stayed away from sales.
good. I like that.
Fast forward 13 years to marry me. He said yes. Shortly after we got engaged, Brenda's father pulled me aside and said, Don, you need to get into sales so you can afford to support my daughter. My experience with Christmas cards came back. And I thought, you're not a salesman. I explained that electronics was my career and paid me very well, and he accepted that. Brenda and I got married.
Yay.
My career in electronics moved into computers, and as personal computers became common. I continued to earn enough to provide for the basic needs of my growing family, but not lots of extras. Occasionally, because of my father-in-law's statement, my subconscious kept prompting me, oh, you need to get into sales. Together we tried Amway, Miracle Made, Forever Living, and many other multi-level systems and trying to get into sales. And we didn't have success with any of them. It wasn't until 2015 that I finally found a simple tool that revealed the secret of why I was having trouble selling anything. That secret was that I was providing way too many details that everyone else didn't even care about. At that point, I started my journey into actually gain the skills that I needed to become successful in sales. I hired coaches, attended years of training, and finally started feeling comfortable in sales. Because of how it helped me, I decided to become a certified trainer and coach of that system. I'm here today because of that process, my coaches, and most importantly for me, that initial set of tools that revealed the secret. So let's begin looking at the secrets that those tools revealed to me and how they can help you get more sales in less time.
Good. That was
And
great.
then starting into,
have your pain and suffering.
didn't have pain and suffering.
Okay. So very good. I love how you
So yeah, the pain and suffering is, go ahead.
are you going to do pain and suffering?
The pain and suffering was the pain that I experienced. I'm sure you've all experienced as well. The experience of no, and no, and no, as you're doing your presentations. And one of the secrets that I learned through these tools and my training is that it's not just a numbers game, which I got to get the wording right on that. It more no's, you have to get more yeses.
And this system shows you.
And this system shows you how that.
Right. But there was no suffering in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
There wasn't suffering. Well,
problem, okay, so the problem
Okay,
is the problem that you said is that you get no, 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 no. So as a salesman, if you're getting
yes.
no all the time, how are you going to feed your family? If you don't know how to sell, you're not going to be able to feed your family. You could go bankrupt. You could, have to go and get a day job. You might have to work for minimum wage, but it doesn't have to be that way. Because I learned some
Okay.
tools that I'm going to teach you on how you can be a successful salesperson. Right? So the pain and suffering is
Okay.
not getting any money. They're not supporting their family. Yeah. So
Okay.
build that up a little bit. Okay. So I love the whole Christmas card thing because it's very, very visual and very funny too, because, you sold your mom, your dad, your grandma, a couple of neighbors, and then nothing. I love that. And then I love how you said electronics is more fun, right? I love that. I love that. And then I wonder if you could work that fun into later on. When you learn these tools, you learn that sales could be fun, just like electronics, right? Sales can be
Gotcha.
fun too,
Okay. Yep. That's a good
because you are having fun.
point.
You've learned how to have fun now with these tools.
Yeah.
Hmm. You're having a ball starting this business, right? It's just you've had some
Yes.
interruptions with the house and the move. I mean, a year ago we didn't know you were going to move to Utah, right? This wasn't foreshadowed, right? That what would happen to your mom.
No, we didn't.
No.
This
Yeah.
is,
No.
this
No,
was
it's
a big surprise, and
yeah.
nobody knew COVID would happen when we started. I mean, it's a crazy time. And look at where you guys are, both of you. You've done it. You've done miracles. You've done miraculous things. And then you've always are in class. You don't miss, you've never missed a call, maybe a little private call, but you just because you didn't need it, it's okay. But you've always been here in the program. When anybody else would have just said, forget it, RV, I quit, right? You guys are just miraculous, right, Lorena?
No, we don't like to quit.
Well, that's good. You're not quitters. None of you are quitters. Are you? Let's look at it. Miranda's, here at midnight, from across the world. That's a winner, right? Lorena has given up a lot of money today because Saturday is her big money day for facials. And she told all of her clients, forget it, right? Right? And Angelique stayed up, all hours of the night because she's an accountant. She had to close the books, and here's the first part of the next month. That's huge, right? And then the two of you doing this, in the comforts of your motorhome or whatever. All of you are amazing, and you should just be hugging yourself and loving on yourself because, yeah, you are an amazing group of people, and I'm just honored to be here. And I just got goosebumps.
Me too.
To be here with you this morning and today and this weekend. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Just amazing. All right. Who would like to go next? Either Brenda or Angelique, because we got a lot of work to do today.
Okay, I'll
I'll go
go.
ahead.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Angelique.
you go.
Who's going?
Brenda.
Oh, we were like, me?
Brenda.
Okay. All right. How many of you hate getting lost? And how many of you not only hate getting lost, but also hate asking for directions?
Amen.
Well, you're in the right place because for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you how to turn your life around and head in the direction of your purpose.
Ooh.
First, I want to thank you for spending your precious time to be here. I also want to thank RV for making this opportunity available for all of us. Let's give her a round of applause. Now, before I share with you how to head in the direction of your purpose, would it be okay if I told you a little bit about my own journey?
Yes.
Thank you. In the 1960s, there was a TV show called Father Knows Best.
Yeah.
It was a great depiction of the beliefs of society at that time. And in my own family, my father was the final say. Everything went through him. He was the one who doled out the money. He was the one who made the final decisions. And he was the one who ruled with a firm hand. And during my growing up years, I adored my father. Thought he was absolutely amazing. He'd let me ride on his foot when I was a little kid. You know how you sit on his foot and he tromps around the room. I loved him, but he was very firm in certain areas. And one of those, when I got to college, was that I couldn't take the classes that I wanted to. No, he wanted a secretary. And so I had to take classes in shorthand and typing and file management, et cetera, et cetera. So those were the classes I took. Then shortly out of college, I found my spouse and married, and Dad didn't have a secretary anymore. But I traded my time for children, and raising 8 children over the years, that meant a total of, I actually looked it up, 23 years of changing diapers.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of time spent there, and I needed some creative time. And so I would manage to, my husband would watch the kids and I'd go to an evening class over at the local craft store and doing some art. And I chose to do watercolors because I knew I could do those at home and they'd dry really fast and the kids wouldn't get paint all over the place.
Good thinking.
So I love doing the watercolors. I would paint something and I would give them away to family. I gave a watercolor to my mother, picture of the seaside with seagulls in the sky. She loved it and she put it on her wall. Years later, when she passed away, my father came over to my house unexpectedly, and he brought that picture with him. And he said, I wanted one of your good pictures of birds. So I brought this back and I'll trade you. And I stood there holding that picture in my hands going, better picture of birds. What was he talking about? And he pointed to some pictures on that I had purchased from a professional artist. And I looked back at him. I was hurt. This man I had always looked up to, that I had always wanted to impress, and I felt crushed. I was basically, in my mind, I was not good enough. And I made the mistake of believing in my mind that I wasn't good enough. And I put away my paints and I put away the pictures. I still have them. Who did I hurt? I didn't hurt him. I hurt me. And that is something that so many of us do to ourselves. We lose our direction. We forget our purpose, and we find other things to do. Well, I did that. I found other things to do. I didn't have a direction. I just went all kinds of places. I bred poodles. I was a wedding consultant. I was a tax consultant and an instructor with H&R Block. I did a lot of different things, but they didn't really have a direction. I was taking classes. I was trying to find myself, who I was. I took a lot of self-development courses, T. Harv Eker's Peak Potentials. I took self-esteem from Jack Canfield. I learned and developed and recreated my own life so that I had a purpose and a direction. And today I guide people to find their purpose so they can develop their talents, serve others with joy, and live a life of fulfillment. So many people don't know which direction to go. They may have so many talents that they just kind of overwhelm themselves and they do nothing. Or take a little nibble of each little piece. Or there are people who have been so beaten down that they don't believe in themselves and don't know what they can do. Don't believe they have a talent. Don't believe they have a purpose. Well, that's where I come in, and I help people find their talents, find their purpose, create clarity and focus.
Beautiful. Good job. Good job.
It was very heartfelt.
Very, very good. So, yeah, I mean, it good, more, you know, it could be streamlined just a hair in some areas, a little, you know, streamlined, but
Okay.
I'll know later what area. I mean, it was good. I loved the dramatic about your dad, you know, that made sense. And now it makes sense of what he said to you, Dawn, about you better be able to afford to marry her. You know, I mean, he was kind of a bossy dad, it sounds like, right? You know, I like the part about he lost his secretary. Your dad lost his secretary. He wanted you to be a
A
secretary
little bit. Yep.
for him, right? He didn't care if you were a secretary overall. He wanted a secretary. So, all right. So Brenda, what are you thinking? You're frozen. I can't tell. Brenda. You guys are frozen.
Oh,
That's just the internet.
Oh, okay. All right. You weren't though the whole time you talked, you know, just a little bit for you, Dawn, but for Brenda, it was,
it's the internet. Sorry.
yeah, it was pretty clear. Okay. So after
You're
we,
frozen.
are we frozen to you?
Good.
No?
All right. So
Oh, there she goes.
I don't know. I think they just turned off the video. There you go. Okay. Now they're frozen a different way. Oh, now you're moving a little. Must be a lot of people in your town using Zoom. Okay. So Brenda, a little bit after you know, the emotions with your dad, which is good because you did exactly what we talked about. If ever you get emotion, you go with it, but you control it. Because when you control it, it makes us want to cry. And I think Angelique was starting to cry.
I was just like, wow, that was so heartfelt.
Yeah,
It was touching. You did amazing.
yeah. So very good. And I loved,
Thank you.
you know, how you said you put down your paints, you hid the picture, you put the picture away and hid your paints. because that is representative of a piece of you, disappearing, going away, being hidden, buried, whatever, ignored. I mean, that was really, really powerful. Now, after that, though, that's when I got a little bit lost. And probably I got lost because I was still there in the emotion, right? And then it just felt like you
Okay.
switched gears really
So it
fast.
needs a better transition.
Better transition because I was with it. You want to give your audience time to ease out of that emotion
Okay.
before because we're there with you. You got us all there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But very good, very descriptive, and love, just love the father knows best thing. Sometimes though, you'll have to be careful with that if and when you're ever traveling and you're speaking. I made that mistake when I went to Egypt, and there's people from all over the world there, like Hong Kong and some other things. And I used a very Western example of when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody what?
Oh, listen.
Right? Listens. Well, people in Singapore and Hong Kong don't know that, and Australia, they didn't know that, and New Zealand and some of these other countries. So because it was a multi-country audience, you wouldn't be able to use Father's Day.
Cultural.
You can use it, but you would have
Right.
to explain it. Back in America in the 60s, we had a popular TV show called Fathers Knows Best. You could do it that way if you were in another country.
That's what I did.
Explain. Did you get it?
Yep.
No.
That it was in the US. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. No, you said in the 60s. How did you
Okay.
did you say there was a popular TV show?
Yes.
Okay, then just keep with that. All right. I didn't write that part down. Excellent. All right. So let's go to Angelique. Oh, let's give Brenda feedback. Sorry. Give Brenda some feedback. Give Brenda.
Brenda, I'm learning from you because you put a lot of emotion to it, and that's what I need is to do what you're doing, is give more emotion, because I usually feel really, really stiff, and I appreciate you demonstrating that, because it's teaching me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Me too, Brenda.
There was so much depth and emotions, so many different layers to your story today, which I didn't get in the first few times that you told the story. So it really grabbed my attention and took me on the journey with you, about your father. And it is such a universal story that people around the world can relate to. It's not just an American story. It is this feeling of not being good enough. This theme runs through globally.
Yes.
And it is so powerful. People will relate to that.
Yes. All right. Very good. All right.
Thank you.
Angelique,
Okay.
let's go to you.
All righty. Let's see here. Okay. How many of you have how many of you have big dreams? How many of you not only have big dreams, but are ready to manifest them into reality? Excellent. Welcome to the first step in your journey to your manifested reality. In the next 30 minutes, we will navigate through 10 simple steps to manifest your dream life. But first, I want to take a minute to thank each of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today. I know we're all busy. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you making the conscious decision of time and commitment to join us here today. I also want to thank R.V. Robinson for inviting me to speak here today. It's with her teachings and mentorship that I'm able to help you. So let's all take a moment of gratitude and give yourselves a huge round of applause. Now, before we dive into the 10 simple ways to manifest your dream life, if it's okay, I'd like to take a couple minutes and just share a little bit about how I came here today. About About 5 years ago, I was sleeping in my bed just like every other night. And suddenly I heard this divine energetic voice of God filling my room saying, you have a purpose to help others manifest their dreams into reality. But first, you must learn this for yourself so you can teach others. I know this voice was correct. I didn't know where to start. At that time, I was the CFO controller, the sole provider of 4 children, and already worked way too many hours. When you're tired and mentally vanquished from your normal day, I'm sure you guys are too, all you want is peace and quiet, maybe a minute of downtime to yourself, if it's possible. Yet on the other hand, I needed to make a change for myself and for my family. Once the kids were grown up, I made myself the priority. Became a licensed life coach and started on my journey, submerging myself in the practice of manifestation and theory, techniques, and coaching others on how to properly use it in their life to achieve their goals and life purpose. So recently I was sleeping and I was awakened by an overwhelming urge to get out of bed and speak without knowing what was to be said. I started to talk to a crowd that wasn't there with conviction and confidence, telling them you will learn to go from outhouse to penthouse, from an empty life to a fulfilled life as a powerful manifester. You are in control of your life. Learn how to manifest, learn how to master manifestations to change your life and live your dreams. Who is with me? How do you start with just an idea, a premonition, a desire? My mind was everywhere. I could not hold a thought in a basket. So much passion and intent, but what was next? A few days later, I had breakfast with my aunt, who had plans to attend a meeting at 10:30 that morning. As we were leaving, I reminded her of the meeting that she was, and that's when she shouted with excitement, "It's a speaking class! I thought of you within the first minute of the first class. It was last Wednesday." Shocked, I pulled over my car and looked at my aunt to tell her about my speaking experience that I had had that same last Wednesday. The universe was clear. My manifestations were on the way. Now it's my goal in life to teach as many people as possible so everyone who desires it can also experience their dream lives come true. Now we all have dreams, which is great, but what does it really mean to you? We all have different definitions. So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and paraphrase what most of us are really thinking. A dream is something that you desire and work towards your whole life. And if you get lucky, it may come true. Most likely, it's just a dream and it'll never be achieved. But however, it's still good to dream, right? Well, let's look at the real definition of a dream. So according to a dictionary online, a dream is a succession of images, thoughts, or emotions passing through the mind. Now, I want you all to close your eyes. Close your eyes and think about your dream for a few seconds. What do you see? Do you see the images? Do you have the thoughts? Can you feel the dream in your mind and your heart? Now open your eyes. How many of you saw a bigger house, a higher paying job, meeting your soulmate? There are as many dreams as there are people. Where is the dream world? Where there is a dream world, there is a world of reality. Let's review the definition of reality. Reality is the state of things as they are, rather than how they appear. Or what might be imagined. In a wider definition, reality includes everything that is or has been, whether or not you can see it or understand it. It's everything that has existed, exists, or will exist. In simple terms, reality is different to everyone as it is personal. It's a personal point of view. What we see and believe is our personal reality, and all of our personal realities are different. Now, when your dreams are not in alignment with your reality, the mind's reactions are often one of defeat, depression, anxiety, sadness, and the list goes on and on. If this sounds like you, then feel normal. This means you're like most people alive today. the difference is you have an opportunity to learn how to become aligned with your reality and your dreams to manifest your best. That's where I stopped. To manifest your best life. So let me go back to that one. Oh, to manifest your dream life. That's what I used. To manifest your dream life.
Okay, very good. Very good. Good job. All right. So, no question, you have the passion and the energy to fuel this type of a speech. So, good job for that. Everything was great until you started getting into the close your eyes, because now you're in the meat. You're not in the problem, pain, and suffering. That is, when you talk about definitions and all that, it's all good. It was all good stuff, but we got to slip it into the meat. It's not problem, pain, and suffering. The problem, pain, and suffering was a little bit, you got into it a little bit about, you know, if your dreams aren't in alignment, you know, that's the problem. But really the problem is that most people forget to dream. They don't dream. And when they do dream, they don't dream big enough. They don't believe in dreams. So what happens is they stay stuck in their dreary little lives, or whatever you want to say, but they stay stuck and they don't fulfill their full potential that God has for them on this planet, right? It doesn't have to be that way, because you, being that dream coach, you can get them there, right? And live their dream life. Right. And then you can go into the whole close your eyes if you want, or let's first look at the definition of a dream.
Oh, that's probably better. Tell them what it is and then close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always have to be careful with people closing their eyes, because some people aren't comfortable with it. So might be better just to say, if you're comfortable, just close your eyes with me if you're comfortable doing so, you know, because personally, I don't like to do that. When I'm in a seminar, somebody's seminar, I don't like to close my eyes and have somebody untrained, take me to my childhood or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's
Be really
true.
careful, you know, unless you're a licensed therapist or something. People could be stuck there. Not
Yeah.
in this case, not in what you're doing, but that's what I've seen done a lot in like a meditation. Go back when you're a teenager. It's like, I don't want to go back there.
Right. I already passed that part. I don't want to go back.
That's all. I don't want to go back. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to go back there. You know, dreams are okay, but I'm saying, just say, if you're comfortable, you know, close your eyes, because I'll do it for imagine yourself on stage, right? Imagine the applause, right? You know, so I'll do a little snippet of it for that, but I don't try to take them back somewhere that they don't want to go.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So you think that I should put people being stuck? So the real problem is that we all have dreams, and what does it mean to you? So that's just real meat, though. All of that is
That's
real
meat. All of that is
everything I said is meat. So I just got to
juicy meat. Yeah, that you want to say.
So I'm giving too much info. I'm giving free info out.
Yeah, that's just really the meat of the matter. What is a dream? What is reality? You know, what is your dream?
What is your dream? Yeah.
Let's set it up with the problem, pain, and suffering, which is, you know, most people think about it. Think about adults. Most adults gave up on dreams a long time ago. You know, they gave up on their dreams. They got into some, you know, day job.
Oh, that's good.
You know, that they hate.
Yeah, that is true. All right, so then
and also you can bring it around to now. Now's the time to dream, you know, with this pandemic going on.
Yeah, now is the time to dream.
Some people are out of work. Some people are looking for work. You know, I just spoke at a group 2 weeks ago, Friday. 100 people came on the line, and it was 100 people that were looking for jobs, and I was talking to them about interviews, how to nail the interview. And there were 99 people. I mean, and these are all corporate executives from big corporations, like what Don's in and what like Miranda's been in the past. I mean, these are, you know, big corporations. Yeah. So there's different people, so that would be perfect. I mean, you know, maybe now's the time, since maybe you've lost your job recently. Maybe it's now you're free to dream again. Let me help you to do that.
Okay, so it's more of that type. It's much smaller then.
I'm just giving you some examples. It's whatever you
Yeah.
want it to be. But as far as that those sentences, yeah, it's only about a sentence or two for the problem, a sentence or two for the pain and suffering. I mean, you want to go right to the jugular. Look, this can happen. You're going to live your life unfulfilled. You're going to go to your grave, with your inventions. You're going to go, with your dreams. They're going to be buried. Just really paint a horrible
that.
picture.
Yeah, I like that.
The more horrible it is, the more they go, wow, I better hire her because I don't want my dreams to be buried with me. Okay, good job. All right, give Angelique feedback. Anybody else want to say anything real quick? Good job, right?
Like, Anjali, I like your passion. I'm learning. So.
Thank you.
Just let go. But again, a lot of that comes with practice, right?
I got a little lost in reality.
What?
There was a little too much reality,
I
maybe.
thought so too. You know what, Brenda? I totally agree with you. And as I was reading it, I went, why did I put so much crap in there? I was like, this is going on forever. I even skipped some. Like, hello. That's pretty bad.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Good job,
Oh.
everyone. Now we're going to get to the meat. All right?
Okay.
The meat.
But not a lot of the enthusiasm. You love what you're doing. And when you love what you're doing, others will love it too.
Yep. I love it. Thank you so much.
All right. So we're on page 17. We've prepared the bread with the problem, pain, and suffering. Now we're going to go to page 19. The meat is in the middle. And as you see there, what we want to do is develop key points. If you have a 5-minute speech, you can give it one good nugget of information. 20 minutes, 3 pieces of meat or 3 principles or 3 ways. 3 to 5 is typically what I say even on a 20-minute. 15-minute, probably 3. 30-minute, 3 to 5. 60-minute, 5 to 7. And 90, that's when you could do your 10. Anywhere from 7 to 10. Why? Because unless you want to just do a laundry list, if you want to really dive deep and give some substantial information, you need time to do that. So let's talk about how we're going to develop the meat for a minute. Let me get my little toy here.
I have a question, Arby. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so we're working on a 30-minute speech. This is what we're working on. So my beginning part, you timed it as 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So it's 5 minutes for the beginning, and then I still want to keep it at 5 minutes for the meat, and then the ending is going to be another 5. That makes it only 15, right?
We're doing a 15-minute speech.
Remember,
I thought we were doing 30.
hang on. Okay, so let's go back to our picture.
When we speak for our
Remember what we said that, hold on, I got it right here. Okay, I need a bigger desk. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me answer that.
So Brenda, the 15 minutes is for the event, but here on this, we're working on a 30-minute. Am I right, RV?
The answer is yes. However, for you, because the event is so close, I would recommend you work on your 15-minute.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just, okay, great.
Okay.
Just because it's right around the corner, why not? Yeah. But
Okay.
just know that if you want
Yes.
to make it bigger, the 15-minute, you just add what? More meat.
More meat.
That's all. So it'll
More
be
meat.
easy for you to add later.
Multi-purpose.
Now, yeah. Okay, so we'll look at this. So normally now for Angelique and Miranda, you're going to create that 30-minute speech, which just means more meat. So it's 7.5 minutes, 50 minutes, or 7.5, but it's give and take. It could be 5 minutes for rapport, 20 minutes in the middle, and 5 minutes. I mean, but you want to eat some sort of equality there, some sort of balance, I should say. So we don't want 20 minutes of rapport and then 2 minutes of meat and then 50 minutes of close. It's out of balance. So for a 15-minute speech, it might be 5, 5, and 5. It could be, or it could, and your close is going to be smaller because you're just going to do a giveaway. So probably you're going to spend more like 5 here, maybe 7 here, right? And what do we have left? 4 and 3 and 3 here.
3.
But it's still balanced for a 15-minute because we know that your close is just going to be, here's a link to a free giveaway. And I'm only giving it to you, to the 3 of you. The 5-minute speakers do not get to do that. They just get to say, if I've inspired you in any way, say so in the chat. And that's about it. Because there just isn't time, right? And I just want to reward you. Okay, so that's how that breakdown is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so we are going to talk about the meat and how to make the meat.
Cover the hitch with something. Greasy. It's greasy.
John, do you have a question?
No, I'm handling something unrelated.
Oh, okay, that's your son? Okay, so when you look,
Yep.
when you look at the meat and you develop the meat, we can develop it several ways. We can go 1, 2, 3, right? So we can say 3 ways to do something, right? 4, 5, whatever you length of time. Or you can use what I love, which is acronyms.
Mm.
All right, so I love acronyms, so I use acronyms whenever I can. Now, you have to sometimes, like you could use an acronym of DREAM, but that might be a little long, but you just have to cut out some of the information. But you could get, you in a 30-minute, you could do the word DREAM, Angelique,
Mm-hmm. I like that.
passion, power, I mean, all of those are good words. Now you could do it one of 2 ways. What I do is this. Let's say I'm trying to brainstorm and I'm thinking, okay, I wanna do something. Somebody give me a topic, just like you want me to talk about. What topic?
Sandwiches. Oh, no. Manifestation. There you go. No, I don't know. Can't think of a topic.
Yeah, okay. I was sorry, I didn't give clear direction. A public speaking topic. 'Cause
Oh,
I don't know anything about manifestation. Okay, so what's a public speak? Okay, let's just say you want to know
nailing the interview. How about that?
a what?
Nailing the interview.
Okay, so nailing the interview. I could do one of 2 things. So I would put, I'd put my title first, nailing an interview. And then I would write down some ideas. So I would say, okay, how do you nail an interview, right? I just asked myself, how do you nail an interview? Okay, so you've got to, they're gonna ask you what your story is. They're gonna ask you what your weaknesses are, right? They're gonna ask you what your strengths are, right? They're gonna ask you, that could be background, all right? They're probably gonna ask you about your future, right? And they're
Mhm.
probably going to ask you, you know, maybe
About your education.
there you go. Thank you. Education, about your education. Okay. So now you could take these and try to form an acronym. All right. So so I go, okay, well, what have I got? Okay. What's the acronym that I want, and push it into the acronym. So I might use an acronym of NAIL. All right. Okay. And now I look at this and I go, what can I say? There's nothing directly, but so I might get rid of the word nail and do something else. I might say success. I've got a lot of S's. Right?
Mhm.
Does that success have 2 S's? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's too many words though. Okay. How about succeed? Okay. Right. So then I go, okay, I've got E for education. I
Oh,
just plug it in,
okay.
right? I got S for story, right? So I might say future could be ultimate future, right? You getting the idea,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Good. Yeah, yeah,
Weaknesses could be challenges,
yeah.
challenges. So now I got, okay, I got weaknesses, I got story, I've got education. Um, I should have
Strengths,
future. Strengths could be what? I have an E and a D.
the other S. Oh, you
I'm using succeed.
took away. You're not, it's a different word.
That's too many.
Have
Sorry.
exceptional strengths,
There you go. Exceptional strength,
or
extraordinary.
maybe extraordinary strength. Yeah, something like that.
Anything like that. Extra strength.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, extra strength.
I mean, it's not ideal, but for
Yeah.
2 minutes of work, it's perfect. And then any questions. So a D, that could be a question is
Determine questions asked. I don't know.
um,
Determine.
how about define?
There you go. Define questions.
Okay, so I mean, that's how you could do it. Or you could do it an opposite way, which is I want to, let's say, do something with leads. All right,
Mhm.
one of mine, leads. Okay, then I could say, okay, leads. Let me see, what do I want to talk about? Well, I always want to talk about the audience. Okay, I've got an A, audience, right?
Mhm.
I want to talk about how they can become an expert in their own field. Okay, so this stands for expert, and how using a system is important. But I also want to tell them about stories. Ooh, I'm going to add another S for stories, right? The D, it could be database, how to build a database, and L is for leverage,
Hmm.
right? So I can do it either way. List it first of what I want to do and then back into it, or just start with the acronym and then figure out what to put in it. Now, if you're using something in your statement that says steps, then steps would indicate that they should be 1, 2, 3. You do this first and that second. Acronyms indicate that you could do it in any order. Now, you don't have to do, just because my acronym is leads doesn't mean I have to start that way. I can go from the top down, from the bottom up, or I can go anywhere in between. The only thing you have to do is be clear. We're going to start with audience, because without an audience, we wouldn't have anybody to speak to. The audiences have changed over the years. They are not the same, blah, 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 right? Next, we're going to do system. So you could go out of order, but you have to be very clear on where you are so people don't get lost. I always prefer, if I can, to do top down, because that's how people normally receive information. But just so you know, you don't have to. All right? So that's how you can spice up your speech, is by using an acronym. I'm the only one that I know that teaches this stuff. And acronyms are so well received by your audience because they build curiosity, and you would let them know what the acronym is right away. You just don't let them know what it's for. And so it builds curiosity immediately. Even on PowerPoint, you're going to put this on PowerPoint, right? If you're doing a live, you're going to put it on a handout. So it builds that curiosity right from the get-go. It helps you because even if you're a little nervous, you'll go, oh, S, what is that? Oh yeah, story. It helps you to remember. Also, if you're doing it live, it helps you to outline your speech and have an excuse to have those notes that you normally, if you're live, you don't have. but everybody else has a handout. So you have the same handout. It's just your handout has everything filled in. The word anyway. All right. So that's how you do it. Now, what I like to do, if I have two words, like I have two words in here, right? So I like them to be consistent. Here I had one word each. Here I have some with two. So I would go back and I would do a second word for the ones that don't. So I would stay story background, all right? Or story something. I would go challenges, challenges at work. Or see, I don't want to say at because then I've got three. I might do that.
Work challenges? No, yeah, you have to do the C.
Have to do the C.
Yeah.
So, extra strength, education. I could say background there, or I could say credentials. Right?
Challenging work.
Challenging work. Okay, very good. You got it. Okay, and defining questions. All right. So it just makes it better when you know, if you have three words, you want all of them to have three words if you possibly can. It just works a lot better. All right. Is that clear?
Very clear.
All right. So that's just something to think about when you're putting your meat together, because it makes it easy to learn, easy for you to teach, and builds curiosity so you can keep your audience's attention. I use them for every speech, and you're going to see that in $1 Million. I very seldom teach anything without teaching it through an acronym. Okay.
I like.
Very cool. All right. So did we lose Brenda and Dawn?
I think so.
Okay. So now we're going to take a few minutes. Do you want to take a break? It's about time for a break. Anybody want a break? All right. So let's take about, how much time do you need? 5 minutes or 10 minutes? 5?
I'm good either way. 5 good.
Okay. Haywards, are you okay? A good 5-minute break. Did you see the acronym? Did you see the acronyms demonstration? Are you good with that? You're all pros at that.
You're muted.
Okay, good. All right, so we are going to take then a 5-minute break and then come back. And then what we're going to work on is the meat. All right, we're going to work on your meat. Now, we'll do the overall, whatever you want to do. The individual explanation you're going to do on your own. All right, all we need is one piece right now that's full. All right, and then the whole outline. Got it?
All right.
5 minutes on the clock. That will take us to whatever 5 minutes from now is. I'm going to just set the timer. All right, 5 minutes. Okay, go.
All right. I'll remind you to record.
Oh, God, yes. I better stop recording now. Pause the recording. All right, so we're back from break. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take 10 minutes and you're going to write out your meat, just like I showed you, either with an acronym or 1, 2, 3, a word only or a 2-word phrase. We're not going to go deep yet. We're just outlining it. All right. So have some fun, take a few minutes, and I'll be right here if you have any questions. And again, you could do 1, 2, 3, or you can do an acronym. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you prefer. Brenda, what we're doing is the meat now. You're outlining your meat.
Okay, I actually already have that done.
Yay, you overachiever. Good.
I just got my acronym.
Oh, good. Can't wait to hear it.
Stop.
So we have already 130 people signed up for $1 Million.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
I've been working hard. I've been speaking all over the place. I just closed, I spoke somewhere and just closed 12 Thursday.
Wow. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
That is great. I'm gonna.
There was only like 40 people there, I think, so 33% close
Oh,
rate.
that's a good margin right there.
Oh, and I got more speaking engagements aligned for next week. So I should get 150 to 60. And then 20% won't show up, even though they bought.
That normally. Oh,
It's industry specific. Now, another industry specific, if it's free or under $50, 40 to 50% won't show up on an online event.
really?
Yeah, if it's under 40 like 50 bucks. If it's 100 to or 200, which mine is 197, they say 60, they say 75 will show up, which is about right because at a live event, 20% won't show up. So it just means 25% may not show up. So 25%,
Mm.
25%, you got to know your numbers, right? Right, Angie?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Gotta know your numbers. I'm over here writing them down. Just thinking.
Brenda's,
I'm not doing my homework because I'm writing numbers down.
I say 150 times 25%. That's 37.5 people won't show up. So that means the people that will come minus 37 minus are 113. So I still have my 100. So, and because it's virtual, some people will go in and out, but that's still a good number to have. Yeah, you got to know your numbers.
So you need your bullet points.
I don't know. I'm working on them.
mailman.
Must be 11.
Two minutes. Does anybody need more time to outline?
Yes,
A few more minutes?
a few more minutes, thank you.
Take a few more minutes. If you've already outlined it, just pick which one you want to go deeper with today. You get to, just talk a little bit about one of them. We don't have time for all of them, but for one of them, then I'll know how you transition from one step to the next. Okay, so go ahead and finish that up. Okay, you ready? Okay. Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to do this in 1 second, but let's take a look at our outline here. So what we're doing right now is we're working on this meat. Now, when we work on the meat, these are the things that can go in there. The actual points, stories, or examples, or even quotes. This is where this stuff goes. In other words, anything can go in the meat, right? So, excuse me. So what I do when I do my meat, when I outline, I will take a look at it, and then later, after I outline it, I will go, okay, now where can I add a story? Excuse me. So,
Yes, you.
thank you. So I add a story here, right? And I'll oftentimes just put an S. If I need to know the story, I will say whose story it is. But this just tells me it's a story about audiences, right? My audience story. Okay. Other stories, like down here, I might want to do a success story. So I'll do my Hector story and I'll circle it. Or sometimes I'll add my Pete story or my Angela story, right? And once you have stories, success stories or whatever, you can use the same ones over and over again. So I've been using the Hector story for over 10 years. I would love to use your story as a success story, right? All you have to do is give me permission, tell me what story you want it to be, and voila. All right. So think about this as you're outlining. The next step is to add your stories, or I might want to say, okay, I'm going to add a quote here. Well, whose quote? Okay, it's going to be a Tony Robbins quote, right? If I need more, I might say, okay, actually, it's not going to be Tony. I think I'll do a Michael Gerber, right? Because he talks about systems in the E-Myth book. So you just go and add things like this as you're working with it and as you're practicing, you know, then it jogs your memory. This is just for you while you're practicing and developing the speech. Okay? Oh, I got to use an arrow though. All right, so got it?
Got it.
Good. All right, so right here. I got to play with this thing. Whoop. Okay, so that's it for now. Now we're going to go around the room, and you're gonna tell us, you know, if it's 1, 2, 3, what are the 1, 2, 3? If it's an acronym, what's the acronym, and what's the acronym stand for? All right. So who's ready to go?
So Avi, a question. So my title doesn't have how many points or whatever, it's just a title, but I have 10 sort of keys. So so in an actual speech, I would just share, say, 3 points and then say the rest are available in the course or whatever. Is that correct? Or how do you position that?
You could say something like, I have 10 keys, 10 successful proven keys. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 of them.
Okay.
Or 5 of them, or
Okay.
or
Okay.
the top 3. I'm going to share the top 3 or something like
Yes.
that. The
Yes.
easiest 3 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right. Good. All right. Who would like to go first and share their okay, Angelique.
So my acronym is DREAM, and it stands for dreams, reality, envision, attitude, and manifestation.
Beautiful. Nice. Now, you could use something different since you're going to do dreams, just like I did here. I did leads, but I could have said this was leads. But by saying leverage, that gives me another talking point.
Oh, true.
So
Okay.
you already have dreams as the acronym, or dream is the acronym. So you could use the D for something else if you wanted to. You don't have to, but you could. Just think,
Okay.
keep in mind, you know, if you wanted determination or something. Okay. So
Dedication, that's a good one.
dedication.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, excellent. Excellent job. Okay, and then Brenda had her hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Brenda. Sorry.
Okay. My acronym is PURPOSE,
Purpose.
and my acronym, purpose. So P for passion, U for underlying values, R for responsibility, P for plan, O for open to opportunities, S for service, and E for either education or enthusiasm or excitement.
Okay, beautiful. But I'm not sure you'll have enough time in 15 minutes to get through all of that.
No, I won't. Absolutely not. So I'm going to focus on underlying values.
One of them, or so one?
What?
So you're just gonna,
Yeah, for 15 minutes. You said right now to just start working on one of them. But yeah, I'll probably go through the first three in
okay,
15 minutes.
right. Well, you might want to create a new acronym then, because otherwise it feels like it's incomplete or we didn't get something. So a smaller acronym, is there something else you could, I mean, that's good for the 30-minute speech.
Oh, well, they're not getting something.
Right?
Well, I could quickly go through the acronym and then say, today we're going to focus on these three. Or just, what, pick an acronym that's got 3 letters?
I recommend picking an acronym that has 3 letters. Yeah, something that,
Okay.
yeah, otherwise people will feel like they didn't get it or you rushed through it or something. I want to make sure that, you know, it's complete. So, you know, everybody give her some 3-letter.
Okay.
Give her some 3-letter words. And hopefully it has a P in it because she has,
Don't have to,
what is it,
don't,
Don?
don't force it.
What?
I was just gonna say that for the 15-minute speech, maybe she wants to just go to 1, 2, 3 instead of the acronym too.
That's true too. You could do that. Pick out 3 of those key points. So if you were to pick 3 of those in purpose, what are the 3 most important?
Okay.
Brenda, what's the 3 most important out of that list of yours?
Underlying values,
Okay.
passion, and yeah, plan perhaps.
What about pup?
Yeah, you can step up.
All you got to do is pup.
Okay.
And this is how you pup, right? You have a passion, you have a whatever. That's kind of cool.
That's probably not going to work.
You don't want to be a puppy?
Okay, so be thinking about that.
Well, we could make it pop
Pop would be good if you had an O.
because I could
Outstanding values.
change it from underlined.
Right,
Okay.
that would work. Okay, good. And sometimes we're going to have to do that. Sometimes in my lead speech, I have more time, so I will put in ERS for leaders and make it about leaders, right? So the acronyms work to expand as well as contract. If I have a shorter time, I'll just say lead, LEAD, and leave off the S's. Okay, excellent. Next. Oh, Miranda had her hand up, yes.
Okay, Avi, so in this session, I'll be sharing 4 of my power keys, and my acronym is RISE, R-I-S-E. And R stands for roadmap, I for inspiration, where I talk about vision, S stands for self-awareness,
Good.
and E stands for ethos.
Stands for ethos.
Ethos, as in values.
Okay, good job. As long as
The-
people can understand that word, because that's not a
Pardon?
common word. As long as people can understand what ethos means.
Yeah, I was looking for, a different word for values, and that was the closest that fit in with my acronym.
Got it. Okay. Okay, good. All
And
right.
and also when we talk about it, I think we'll expand anyway. So ethos is in values.
Right, right. And you might even want to spell it for people so they know what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, or explain the ancient, where it came from or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, good. Next.
I'll go next. I don't have an acronym. I can't think of one, but I'll put some more thought into it. I only have the 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So, and you just want to know the one,
Doesn't
right?
have to be one.
Well, no, tell us all three, but when we do the speech, you'll just do one of them.
Got it. Okay. So the first one is not getting, I was wanting to use the word coaching, but I'm not sure if that's the right word, not getting proper skincare coaching or guidance. And then number 2 is doing too much or not doing enough. And then number 3, not being consistent with skincare. So, and my main one is I'm going to do the doing too much or not doing enough.
Okay, good. Those are good. Okay, so you have like, the coach, you have, you've got kind of insufficient care, insufficient, not doing, and you've got, what was the last one?
The last one is not being consistent.
Yeah, so you
So I
can,
have the word cell, like the cell, the skincare cell, coach, enough, lipid barrier, but I need one more L. So I would have to do 4 instead of 3.
that's okay.
So I don't know if there's enough time, but I guess I could try.
Well, yeah, it just depends how deep you want to go.
Yeah.
15 minutes. So the L could be something like love your skin.
Oh, okay.
Always remember to love your skin.
Okay.
Cell's
Okay.
a good word. I mean, skin would have been a good word if that would have worked, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but cell will work. Okay. Because, and explain it that we're,
Right.
made up of different layers and blah, blah, blah. Okay,
Right.
very good. All right, let's go to Don. What are you doing, Don?
Okay, so mine is because of the sequence of stuff that I need to present, it doesn't lend itself to an acronym.
Okay,
And so I'm going to go just number 1, 2, and 3.
okay,
And the first was talking about the science or the secret first, that sales is not a numbers game, it's a people's game. And that the single sales script that we're normally provided through our sales training is not adequate for all 4 personality types. Get into the science a little bit, talking about Hippocrates, and that's the history of where did this come from. So 2000 plus years ago, Hippocrates called it the 4 temperaments, and he treated his patients based on their temperament. Today it's called personalities. We have 4 base personality. Each of us is different. And because of that, we use the words within our language that match our dominant personality. Talk about the idea that if we speak English with another English speaker, they understand us and we are able to connect very easily. But what happens if you speak English to your Spanish-speaking client? The connection is a lot harder to establish. And what if you were fluent in Spanish as well as English? You'd connect with twice as many people more easily. Now, the same goes true with personalities. By learning to speak the language that matches the personalities, you're able to connect with other people better And by being able to speak to all 4 personalities, you've essentially 3 times your reach and your contact. And that's not clean, but that's the outline of where I think I need to go in the 15 minutes.
Right. I think so. And I know when you do it, you know, you'll have, of course, more enthusiasm, you know, and passion for it in your voice.
This
Matter of
was just a data dump of what I'm planning to put there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I mean that with all the love in my heart. Okay. So now what you're going to go back and do is go back through and see if there's a story, a client story, or something that can back up what you're saying. I know, Dawn, you have some, and Brenda, you have some. So just whatever one piece of meat that you're going to talk about today when we put the speech together, that's what I want you to focus on, is which story, quote, example that backs it up. And again, something short, something, you know, a little short story,
Okay.
quote, or example. All right. Does everybody have something that they can use?
I just have one question. So I thought we were gonna, are we picking one of the letters or one of our items and then picking straight about that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the one that you pick, see if there's a story, quote, example, metaphor, or something that you
Right.
can use to support it. Yeah.
Got Okay.
Because that's what you're going to do on your own to all the rest of them. And again, you don't want a story. That would be boring. But and some you can leave blank, right? So like when I say audiences, on mine, I talk about audiences have changed. It's a story. They've changed from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to today. And then I talk about where it's going. So it's a whole thing on where public speaking is going. But for database, I just teach them how to do it. I don't have a story for database, right? So you'll mix it up. All right, so we're going to take about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes for that. However long you need. It shouldn't be, you're not going to write out the story. You're just going to say, oh, Hector's story or Lorena's story, or, you know, just real quick. You can write it out if you want to, but I'm saying you don't have to.
Are we gonna tell a story for every single one acronym, or just tell the story one? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. You don't want to do a story for everyone. Some of them you're not going to have anything. Some might be a quote. Some
Yeah.
might be an example, you know.
Okay. Thanks. I heard that in the back subconsciously, but it wasn't. It just came in. Okay. Uh-huh.
Oh, I like that.
All righty, how did that go? Everybody got a little something? Little support? Brenda,
I need a
no?
little more time.
Okay, you got it.
Need a little more time, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brenda, are those your chickens?
Yes.
I like it. It's refreshing.
Not ours, the neighbors.
Well, let us know when you're ready.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, I was muted. Okay, so everybody's ready for that? All right, great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some other fun stuff. And then we're going to have a lunch break. And then at the lunch break, we'll have enough time for you to review it and practice the first beginning. When we come back from lunch, we are going to go directly into our close and put it all together. All right. So I'm just going to walk you through a few things that we're going to need to put together. All right, so I want to talk about the virtual world and virtual speaking because it's different than the real world, but there are some similarities, and we are on page 21. So we're going to go through this, and that's the body language. Now, when we're speaking in the virtual world, especially on Zoom, which the majority of people are, we want to make sure that you look directly into the camera. This is me looking into the camera, right? And this is me looking at the screen. See the difference? So it's okay when you're in a meeting and I'm teaching and I'm, looking around, but when you speak, you want to look directly at the camera. Now you'll be able to see your PowerPoint if you're using PowerPoint down below, because you can use peripheral vision or slightly look down a little bit, right? But what you don't want to do is read your entire speech because we can see it, right? You have to be real careful. We have to be real careful. Now, there's lots of places to speak out there, so don't be discouraged. I've gotten more speaking engagements since COVID hit, especially in the last month or two, than ever before.
Wow.
People coming to me. Why? Because like Monday, I'm speaking in Las Vegas. I wouldn't have had that speaking gig otherwise, because they would have had to drive me out there, pay for my trip, pay for my hotel, pay for my food, and then speak, right? Whether or not it was free or not, they still would have had to take care of expenses. So now, people got it. And so they're like contacting people all over the place to get out there and speak. So there's lots of places. So I want to call up just a real quick little PowerPoint and just demonstrate this really fast. And of course, it's not responding. Come on, you. All right, it's not responding. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I love those chickens.
It is cool.
I love them. All
They're
right.
bragging about laying eggs.
Yeah. Okay. So real quickly, I'm going to share my screen. All right. And let's just talk about some of these places to speak. And so webinars, now webinars have been around for a very long time. Webinars, that's typically when you actually do your own webinar, but I just was on somebody else's webinar on Thursday. Webinars, typically you don't see everybody. Whether you're using Zoom or GoToMeeting, you're not going to be able to see a gallery of people. If it's GoToWebinar, you don't see anybody. Now, I connected with Zoom since 2015 because I could see people and because I could see myself. So I did my whole online program using Zoom so that people could connect with me by at least seeing a real person instead of just a voice behind a PowerPoint. But webinars have been around for years and years and years. But now today we have live stream, which is Facebook Live. We have live YouTube. We have live LinkedIn now. We have live Twitter now. There's a lot of live platforms, and I recommend that you embrace them because they're just starting out. And pretty soon they will be saturated, and you will just be another
One.
needle on the haystack or whatever. So start to use these things now. There's a program called StreamYard, and that helps you blast to multiple locations. So imagine doing just an interview and then have it blast out to 8 different places. It can go 8 different places, right? I mean, that's the power. That's how we reach millions of people where we never could do that before.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's at our fingertips. And all you knowledge-based people, you can learn this stuff, and boom, and teach others how to use it too. And again, there's YouTube. I've been on YouTube for 16 years. You should go back and see some of my early stuff. It's good stuff, but it was like done with a flip camera. Anybody remember the flips, right?
Oh my God.
Came out and they disappeared, but they were hot in their day, right? Because we couldn't do video on our cameras at that time. We had stationary cameras, we had flip phones, and so when that little flip came out, that meant we could afford a camera and it would be really portable and we could load it up on our computer easily. Until then, we'd have to have these big old cameras that are sitting on our shoulder. Right, Dawn? Right, Dawn? Are they frozen again? Okay, so YouTube. Zoom meetings, as we all know, we can use that.
Question, Harvey.
Yes.
A question, Harvey, about the live stream. Can you just go a little bit over that? Are these videos? Are these? I'm not quite sure. I'm not a social media person, so I'm.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So, for instance, you were in the Facebook Live class.
Yes.
Okay, that's live stream. In other words, it's live right now. It's not pre-recorded.
Okay.
Okay. Well, now we can go on YouTube where it used to be in the old days. We would have to record something on a camera or
Right.
record it on our phone and then load it up. Well, now
Yes.
we can go right to YouTube and speak and have it be recorded and up on YouTube. Now, are anybody going to see it? Well, not unless you have subscribers and they know it's coming and that kind of thing. So they may not see it, but it helps streamline the process of getting a video up there. That's one thing. Other sources like other social media has the ability for you to go live as well. Facebook was the first one, but now LinkedIn has that ability, but you do have to apply. So they're very picky. Now I applied and I still haven't got an answer yet. So I don't know what's going on with that. The Twitter live you could do, but it's directly on the phone. You can't do it through your computer like you can Facebook Live.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So to do that, to get an audience as you're doing live, I suppose you would be marketing it and inviting people in your groups or your community. Yeah.
You can, or at first just put it up there.
Okay.
And because as long as, you're building your list, your social media list, which all of you should be doing, which I recommend you spend at least 30 minutes a day at the end of your day, just asking for friends, making connections, and building your list. Because when you do, you're going to be even more valuable of an asset to other people that have a following. All right. So I've been asked to join this organization at the beginning of this year based on my reach, based on they want to know how many LinkedIn connections I had, how many this, how many that, how many on my email list. And I had to have a minimum reach of 15,000, right? So I have 10 on my list and I've got more of a reach in social media. So it's an asset, it's gold. So start collecting friends and people and building those connections, because you never know when people are going to use it, want it. Also, oftentimes you get opportunities to speak based on your list. If you ever want to be on a summit, right? And Brenda did one of these summits a few years ago. She was looking to build her list with it. So she wanted people on her show that had a list. Got it? So those are assets. So your assets are your list and your social media people.
Okay. So one more question. So when you do a video, when you take it on iPhone, you do a video and you upload it on Facebook.
That's not a Facebook Live.
That's not a Facebook Live.
No. It's
So
not.
yeah. So what's the difference there then?
Okay.
Please.
Pre-recorded. That's a pre-recorded video. Facebook Live is live right now this second. So I'm doing it live and you can watch it.
And you're doing it live on Facebook itself or on Twitter. Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Got it. Thank you.
Doing it now or pre-recording it.
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right. So Zoom meetings, online networking. There's so much online networking out there. I recommend you just find some groups that you like, that you resonate with, and then visit and then ask if you can be a speaker. I mean, there's so many, and there's women's groups. I'm going to some, and if you want to know what some of them are, just reach out to me. I have my SCORE networking happy hour for women. That's free. Well, the breakfasts are not free. They're like 10 or 20 bucks, but the happy hours typically are free. And they have several hundred people on. So they're all over the place. So online networking, that's where I'm speaking a lot these days. I use it for my mastermind meetings. I use it for interviews, podcast and radio, and virtual seminars, online programs. So there's just a lot of online. It used to be years ago, only webinars really existed.
Yeah.
Now everything's opened up for speakers. I'm doing a panel for an organization. I'm doing it. It's actually Sunday, next Sunday. I think it's next Sunday. And Les Brown is speaking, and a lot of the top people are speaking. Well, I'm on a women's panel, and it's a pay to play. Remember, I talked about pay to play. Maybe not in this group, but there is a pay to play out there, ladies and gentlemen, and it's really running rampant. And some of it's pretty high, but some of it's still affordable. So I think it cost me $750 to
Be on the panel?
$750, yes. But
Oh, wow.
I've been asked to be on panels live for $5,000, right? I've said no to that. You know?
Yeah.
But they range from anywhere from $500 on up to, I was asked to be on a panel a few months ago, $11,000. $11,000 for a virtual event. I said, thank you, but no. But
Is there a true benefit to that even? There's not, right? That's a
well,
lot of
here's
for
the thing.
virtual.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, this virtual event supposedly had 800 people in it, right? And you got a sponsor booth, so it could have made a lot of leads. You couldn't sell, but it could have made a lot of leads. But here's why I didn't do it. I didn't know the guy, and I didn't know if I wanted to align myself with this individual, this young man, millennial, who I didn't know, I didn't know his values. I didn't know what he taught. Right. And they're like, oh, well, we know him and he's good, or we wouldn't recommend him. I'm like, but I don't know him. I don't know him enough to give him $11,000.
And you only have one name. That's it. Once you tarnish your name, if you tie yourself to somebody like that you don't know, it's dangerous.
Yeah. So anyway, but just know those opportunities are coming your way.
You need to play. Okay.
So,
So
our question again, given you were asked, you would be paying these people to speak.
I'm saying don't be offended or appalled or surprised if someone asks you to pay.
Okay.
You know, because that's how the industry's going out there. And like I had to pay to, I met you at Danella's event. I had to pay for that. I had to pay to speak to that, right? I wasn't just there because I'm her client. All right.
Chicken?
Don't be offended. But
What chicken?
here's what you do. You want to measure the number of people, see if it's their first event or not, and see if you can sell. So I just was on an event and it was their first event. And I knew, because been in the industry so long, that they were not going to get the numbers that they claimed that they had registered. They said they had 218 people registered, which for someone's first event is fantastic, right? But also highly unlikely because nobody knows them, right? They don't have a reputation. So I sponsored it. I paid $1,000, right? Which is a lot. But again, my motive right now is $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, promoting $1 million, whatever it takes. And I have to invest, $1 million, $1 million. So I asked if I could sell. When I went to the event, I saw there were not numbers there. They had 45 people.
Yeah.
Out of 200, they had 45. Why? Because it was a free event. Well, anybody signs up for a free event.
Yeah.
So 45 people. So then I'm like emailing him, you know, is it okay if I sell my $1 million ticket? So I did. I sold 12. I got my money back, you know, and then some. So that made it okay for me. However, if they did not let me sell, and if this ever happens to you where the numbers are not there, then you need to go back to them or negotiate ahead of time. So if the numbers weren't there, I would have gone back and said, look, because I know they're doing another event in January, and I would have gone back and said, listen, I need to be another sponsor for free because your numbers weren't there and I didn't get the value.
Yeah.
Right? So there's things you can do in this industry to ensure that you're taken care of if they don't have a proven track record. There's some people out there that have a proven track record, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about it. They'll have 900 people or something. And to have exposure to that kind of group is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit, you know, a little bit about where you can go to speak and how. So let's talk about, we're on page 21. So let's talk about other techniques. So besides looking at the eye, we're going to talk about hand gestures. Now in this environment, you're still going to use hand gestures, and I recommend that you use them because people will see any movement on the screen. They see that. It gets their attention. But just do them out here, right? Don't do them in here. That doesn't look good. It's a distraction, right? People, you know, putting their hand on their camera and adjusting it. You can do it as a guest. I'm talking about specifically when you speak, right? You want to keep them like some people, you know, fold their hand and they're putting it way up here in front of the camera when they're on their laptop, and it just doesn't look good. All right, so use hands, feel free to use your hands because they create that kind of attention you need to keep people engaged. Just keep them away from the camera. All right, now let's go into our facial. Now our facial, of course, is really important, and in our staging and everything is important. And all of you've learned from the etiquette classes, so I just to refresh your memory, but remember we want to be well lit when we speak. We want to have a professional background that says something about us or our branding, or you can use a green screen and put your logo up there. There's, you know, Don has a great one that he's used, and, you know, and do something like that. But in the outside world, in the live world, we as speakers are not responsible for our stage, for our lighting, for our music, for our sound. It's all done for us when we go to that event. We might be speaking at Denny's, and yet we might be speaking on stage at a professional event that has lighting and whatever, right? But people know in your audience that you're not responsible. But guess what? That's turned completely around, and now people know you are responsible for your own stage now, right? For your own lighting. So if you're in the dark, you know, it's your fault, right? We know it's your fault. If you're, you know, if anything happens and your green screen falls down, that was your doing. So people are less forgiving. So you have to set up your own stage and your lighting and your sound and get your own microphone, because it's not going to be provided for you anymore. Not even a big event. It's all up to you. All right. So also make sure, as you learn in the etiquette class, that you're in the center of your screen when you speak. Make sure you're close enough, but not too close unless you're as young as Angelique, right? Make sure there's some distance between you and the wrinkles. I've seen some people that are right up front and all face, and I'm like going, whoa, right? It's a little too much. So do what's comfortable for you, but make sure you're doing, you know, make sure you think about it. That's all I want you to do, and make it on purpose. Make it up. If you want to be right up in front of their face, make it a decision, not an accident. If you're using a laptop, please prop it up, because there's nothing worse than people bending down and now we see their double chin or something that's not as complimentary. Remember, everything is magnified in this environment. And so what we see, we can't unsee. When we're on stage, it's different because we're moving around, they're moving around, but here it's like, we're right here, right in your face. So just be aware. That's all I want you to do. So I try to stay center. I try to lean forward just a little bit. And then what I got now is a stand steady desk, so I can stand up for my event, because standing up will automatically give you more energy as a speaker, because it opens up the diaphragm. So you'll have more. You don't have to get it. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing. So I can stand up, and I stand up for a lot of my classes. All right, so think about that. You still want to stand in you want to still stand in the rooted position. All right, so what is the rooted position? That is with your feet shoulder length apart. So this is if you're using a stand-up desk, shoulder length apart, so that you're not rocking. You still don't want to be in this environment rocking back and forth or doing something like this. You still want to be planted, feet planted on the ground, right? Shoulder length apart, chest out, looking confident, right? Got it?
Got it.
All right, so let's talk about the face. Good. Let's talk about the face. So we're on page 24. We're just going to do some fun facial exercises, and Lorena teaches some of these for, that facelift kind of thing. So they'll serve two purposes. Yeah, they'll serve two purposes. All right. So we want to make sure that when we're in this environment, we are animated as well, just like we would in the on a live stage. So we want to make sure that we're smiling, so sometimes we have to practice smiling, Dawn.
Yeah.
When we speak. But we don't want to smile when it's a sad thing, obviously. Our face has to be congruent with our message. So make sure you smile, it builds rapport, and use what's appropriate for your speech. So when Brenda's in her sad point, she's not going to smile or laugh or giggle, obviously, right? But just learn to smile more. And I know Lorena's practicing smiling a little bit more with her speech as well. But let's do some exercises. So so we're gonna do facial exercises right now. So let's do a surprise. Right, that's surprise. When we do storytelling, we're gonna need to use some of these expressions. And we are recording, right? We are recording. All right, so what about mad? All right, what about happy? Yay, look at that. All right, what about sad? Sad. Okay, and what about over the moon excited? Right. Dawn, is that excited? Look at Dawn.
John's like, that is my excited. This is me excited.
I love it. Okay, excellent. All right, so just in your leisure, practice some of those. So Lorena, is there any other one that we should practice that's good for our face as well?
Muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
This is gonna look weird, but literally smile, and then try to make an O, and keep trying to smile with that O.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And that is helping to strengthen these muscles.
Oh, I like that one.
Woo.
So it'll help you, yeah. So yeah, so make an O.
And still try to smile.
And then try to smile. But try to keep that O.
Hard.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, I need to talk to you more.
You, look at you. She did it. Okay, excellent. Okay, all right. Now we don't have to worry about getting our audience to stand up anymore because of being in this environment. But let's talk about what you can do for audience participation, because it is different. I am going to go to my PowerPoint again. All right.
Page 26.
Yeah, we are on page 26. I love those two. All right, so now let me share. Okay, so how do we have audience participation in a Zoom room? Well, we can ask people to comment in the chat box. And this is something that you want to do right in the beginning when people start to come into the room. You can say, write in where you're coming from. Write in, the chat box where you're coming from. Now, that works best if you're the host. If you're a guest speaker, you're not going to do that in the beginning, but you can do it throughout your presentation. You can say, you can ask them, hey, just curious where y'all zooming in from, right in the chat box. And then you want to have your chat box up so that you can see what they're doing. All right. So also, if you are running any sort of group, again, just a little etiquette. And I didn't have this on my etiquette slide months ago, but acknowledge people that come in. I've been to several meetings and I'm there and nobody even says boo to me, right? And it's like, walking into the room and no one recognizing you, or no one, you know, it's like being invisible. It doesn't feel good. So,
Yeah, I second that, Avi, because I've been in several, no acknowledgement. And that's the one thing I learned from you and in doing your courses, that you were very, very consistent with that. Every time I met up with you, you were always very consistent. So, and it's a nice approach. It breaks the ice. It makes people feel welcome. So yeah, like that.
and important and significant. And that's
Yes.
all we want.
Yeah.
Is to feel like we're significant, that we matter. So do that. Okay. So chat in the chat box, ask them to use reactions. Now, just know if you're using PowerPoint, you don't have reactions available. No one can. So you don't want to, you know, say that if you're sharing your screen. Raise hands physically. I like this one. Just, you know, just tell me, because we can see it really easily. These are those little nonverbal icons that are over to the right of your name. I don't like to use those so much, but they're available. Verbal, you know, we're going to keep the line open. I want to hear you. When I say got it, you say got it. I say good. So we can still do some of those things. When we do, excuse me, I wasn't ready, but when we do the $1 million, I am going to instruct people, when you hear $1 million idea, instead of saying millions like we would when we're live, you're going to hold up the paddle, right? And then when I say, how cool is that? You're going to say, that's cool. Because we can't have 150 people unmuted when I get into the presentation. Right? It's just, it would be too much noise, too much clatter, and all of that. So, but in smaller meetings, we can. So ask for verbal involvement if you can't. Think of creative ways that you can get people to participate. Breakout rooms, if you use breakout rooms, and we've all been in breakout rooms, and I don't know about you, Miranda, but some of them are so boring, I can't stand it. I'm thinking, what a waste of time. Now, if you're going to do breakout rooms, whether you're the speaker or not, right? Because at my event, I'm going to do breakout rooms. Think of something creative. All right. So I'm going to do a scavenger hunt. I'm not just going to do a question. You're going to see how this works when I do mine. But something where then they go into the room and they talk about the items that they collected. How cool is that? And how cool to get to know someone that way. Another way to do breakout rooms, I mean, yes, be creative always, but you can go in with a specific question or problem that they need to solve, but make it fun. So Dawn, instead of saying, you know, tell everybody your bank code, what you could do for fun is say, look for one thing as far as what the person, you know, is maybe physically dressed. I'm just making this up just to give you an idea. How are they physically addressed, and then guess what their code is, or their first letter of the code is. And then everybody reveal your code and see how right or wrong they were. Now, wouldn't that be a lot more fun than just getting into the room and going, who are you?
I'm a KMAB. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And you, Angelique, one of the things you could do is share your dream. Share your biggest dream with the group. And what I want you to do, and I'm going to do that at my event in October, which you're all invited to. It's a SCORE. And it's called, the theme is Dream a Bigger Dream. It just so happens that's my theme, Dream a Bigger Dream.
That's
I have
good.
a full speaking lineup where I would invite you. Sorry.
Next time.
Next year. But the key here is I'm going to start out with, go into the room and what is your biggest dream? And then we're going to go back and come back and go, now, how can you make it bigger? Now let's mastermind. Who in the room can help you with your dream, right? Because whatever our dream is, there's somebody else's, maybe it's not a dream, but job is to help us reach our dream, right? It goes hand in hand in the universe. So it's like whatever we want, there's someone that wants to give it to us. Just know that. We're not alone. We're all connected. So there's somebody out there whose job it is to get you where you want to go. Just like it was my job to get Angelique and all of the rest of you on that stage speaking, sharing your message with the world. That's my job. That's my mission in life. That's my purpose. That's my passion. Yay.
And we love your purpose.
Thank you. Thank you. But just know you've got that counterpart.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So breakout rooms, if you are going to do them as a networking meeting and you want people to introduce themselves, then just give clear instructions. You're going to pick a facilitator in the room. Pick the person with the longest hair. You're going to pick a timer. Pick the person with the shortest hair. And you're going to answer this question. What is it that you do? Your name, what do you do, and how can I serve you? You're going to have 2 minutes each, and you're going to be in there 3 people, and you're going to have a little extra time, so you're going to have a total of 10 minutes, and then boom, that's it. Clear, clear, clear. Most of the time, people are like scratching their head. What are we supposed to do? Right? It's so boring. And sometimes I get in these groups and there's somebody that's like over dominating. And I don't mean just a leader. I'm talking about overbearing, dominating, like nasty, right? And I just go, you know what? I have to go, right? Great meeting all of you. You know, my water's running. I don't know. But sometimes I just back out because I don't need to be in some room with some capital B in there that's trying to do whatever she's trying to do. So I've been in many of those recently in these bigger seminars. Okay. Or I get in, one time I was in a seminar, they didn't have enough people and I was in a room all by myself.
Oh,
Right? And finally, some dude jumps in later. See, when people have their video off, sometimes they're not present at all, right? They're not even in the room. But when they're there and when they're present, they're still going to be assigned to a breakout room.
yeah.
Right? You can't avoid that. Especially if you do it manually because you have a big event. Right? So now you're in there and you might get 2 or 3 people that are not there, but they're just there. So I just recommend if you're not going to be there, you're going to leave physically, leave the room. I mean, leave the whole thing. Otherwise, you could be very well put into a breakout room that you didn't plan on. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Whiteboards, we've all played with whiteboards. I don't really like them because I can't draw on them very well, but they are there. I think they work great for children's activities where they can all scribble and put hearts on and be goofy. They like them, but I don't think they work in a professional environment very well. I like quizzes. I make up quizzes. I just put them right on my PowerPoint. So something like this. You should always write out your speech, and we've already talked about that. And I ask people to put the answer in the chat. So the answer, of course, is never, or you become a prisoner of your own words. We've talked about that already, but it's just quotes like that. So something about maybe whatever you just taught. So you can say, like Angelique could say, so dreams are concrete. Are they tangible or intangible, right? True or false, something like that. Nobody can dream after 5 years old. True or false? I mean, you could just make up stuff, whatever. Dreams, you can never turn a dream into a reality, right? False. So
Right.
you can have a lot of fun with that. All right. So that's just a little bit I wanted to show you there, just to mix it up a little bit. All right. So those are some ways to involve your audience. Where in the live stage, we could do high fives, which I still do in this environment. Look at how cool it looks. So everybody do a high five to the person next to them and touch the end.
Oh, that is cool.
Isn't it? Okay, so Miranda, we can't see your hands. We need to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, Brenda's got it. Isn't that cool? So you can still do a little high fives like that. You can still
That's
ask.
cool.
Yeah, there you
Got
go.
you, Lorena. Got you, Lorena.
Right. Have some fun there. You can still have people finish your sentences. So if I said, lions, tigers, and bears.
Oh my.
Oh my, right. People buy from people they know, like, and
Relate to.
trust
Oh, trust. Okay.
is how that one ends. That's a corporate thing. So see, that didn't work here. That bombed. All right. So,
I wasn't thinking, I didn't have my corporate hat on. I had my manifester hat on.
yeah. Okay. And again, you can still do exercises, but the exercises typically would be done either by people doing them by themselves, like you've been doing, or you do a breakout room and have them do a physical exercise, not physical with the body, but something like, like they would. So for instance, it's better if I just give you an instance. And this is the kind of thing I want you to do in your speech if you need to, but when I say an example. So for example, in my $1 Million Speaker Summit, I always have people break into twos and tell each other what they do, right? Brenda and Dawn, you've been there. Lorena's been there. You've seen that. And why do I do that? It's so that they can build rapport with somebody in the audience. See, first you want to build rapport with one person, then maybe groups of 3 people, and then larger groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I have people do right in the beginning is, and I'm still doing this, is a Facebook selfie contest, right? Nobody's doing this. I do it every single time. Well, how do you do it here? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell people how to do it here. You're going to take your phone and you're going to do a picture of you with everybody else in the background, right? And then you're going to put it up on Facebook. Or you could do a Facebook Live, right? With us in the background, blah, 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 blah. Right? Now, it won't last as long as I usually do in person because I encourage everybody, but it's a way to break the ice so that people can meet people. That's why I do it in the live event. It isn't because, I want everybody to do a selfie or I want a selfie with everybody. It's not the purpose. The purpose is to build rapport. So first you build your own rapport with your audience. Then you help them to build rapport as a group and then build rapport individually. And people do business together. They do, life together, just like you two, Miranda and Angelique, because you did that story together. Now you're connected and bonded just a little closer than maybe someone who didn't. Okay. We still have to do that in the virtual world. Got it?
Got it.
Good. All right. So that's a little bit about that. We're going to go just 15 minutes more. Then we'll just go about 3 or 4 minutes more because we're going to take a 45-minute break today. All right. So we've still got about 5 minutes. Now, before we go, is there any questions on anything I talked about?
I have a question about involving your audience. Is there a certain pattern or quantity of items that you would want to use in the speech? You know, you have the other one says this many points for a 30-minute speech and this quantity of points for a 15-minute speech. What's your suggestions for involving audience?
That's a good question because it's really what feels natural for you and for the audience. So let me give you an example. When I first started out speaking in corporate and for corporate events and corporate networking groups, I had a speech that was called seven ways to become a more persuasive speaker. And after every way, I had my audience do a high five. Da, 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 high five. Da, da, da. It was too much.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it got ridiculous. But I didn't know it until I tried it. And then I could see their faces. They're going.
I can imagine. I can see it. I see it in corporate.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it's what's natural for you, what fits your audience.
Okay.
But you still need to do a little bit more in this environment to keep people engaged. Why? Because they've got their desk. They've got their cell phone. They've got their dog, they've got their kids, they've got their husbands and wives. They've got, get interrupted easily.
Yeah.
So you really got to
Keep it
challenge them a little bit more. And I think, again, I think the quizzes would be really good for you. I think the breakouts are, the dream breakout rooms will be good for you. So again, you can't have too many breakout rooms, ladies and gentlemen. I've been on a 1 hour and all we did was breakouts. 1 hour networking meeting. We did 3 breakouts. I'm up to here with breakouts.
Yeah.
Got it? It's just too many. A couple would have been good and broken up with a little bit of, speaker maybe, or message, activity, something would be good. So what I recommend, because this is so new to all of us, is to go to your meetings like you go to and just check in with yourself and see, am I engaged? Am I bored? Am I tired of breakouts? How many times? Be a fly on the wall or watch what they're doing.
Be an observer. Yeah.
Engage it for yourself too, because I don't have all the magic answers, because I've only been in this environment 5 months myself. But I do know from my own experience, I'm getting a little tired of breakouts because they're mostly boring, because people just don't know how to facilitate them and make them fun and exciting. So just start imagining, how could I make this even more exciting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's good.
So
thank you for that.
Yeah. All right. So just do what's natural, but do something, because otherwise a talking head in here can be really, really boring. That's why we want to use videos now. We want to use PowerPoint now and shake it up, just like I shook it up a little bit, right? When you're the speaker, ask to be, if you have a lot of people, see, this is a small group, so we can see everybody equally. But if it was a big group and you're speaking, you're just going to be a little tiny, picture. The screen can only handle 49 people. That's the max. And then that's when everybody gets really small. And then everybody can see you, but you could get lost. So what I always recommend is to put people in the spotlight mode. So I'm going to spotlight Dawn and Brenda, right? So now everybody sees Dawn and Brenda. Do you all see them?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. All right. Now, okay. I just lost my screen. Hold on. I got 2 screens, so I got hung up on my other screen. Hold on. Yeah, you're not big to me. Okay, I'm gonna cancel the spotlight. No, no, I mean, you're not like huge.
Surprise.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, something happened to my screen and it is not, I'm not seeing everybody anymore. Hold on. Let me see if I can't fix it.
Select gallery
Because you're
view
the
again.
speaker.
No, I mean, I'm not seeing the top, everybody anymore. I mean, I see a slice, but I have a white line that's across the top of my screen now. And I can't.
Select gallery view.
No, I can't. You don't understand. I can't see it. It's hidden behind a big white tab that's it's on my
Something else.
that I can't
Yep.
I can't get rid of it. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do, and the X doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do, you guys just stay there. I'm gonna exit and come back, all right? Just stay there.
Okay.